So am I supposed to have a serious intellectual conversation with a man who thinks the president can do whatever he wants to, and unless it affects your family, you don't care if it affects everybody else? That's what I'm getting from this conversation, sir. Unless it affects you personally, you don't care about other people. You have proven that in this conversation.
Hey, Brian. So I came across your show recently, and I see like how hot-headed you can get, especially with supporters. But I'm just wondering, why can't you give Trump the benefit of the doubt?
Okay, so hold on. Let's stop there. Let's have a conversation. I'll be very calm for you, sir. So first of all, it's called passion. I'm a very passionate person in my personal life and my public life. And if you don't like passion and you want to watch or listen to somebody that is monotone, that is boring, then you have the opportunity to do that, sir. I find that very strange that you called in and you say, why are you so hot-headed? But I'll answer your question by saying there's a lot of people that voted for Donald Trump that are very ill-informed and that are very stupid. And let's prove me wrong in this conversation. What would you like me to give Donald Trump credit for? Should I give him credit for ending the war in 24 hours? Let's start there. Donald Trump said the war would be over in 24 hours. Even before he got into office, he would pick up the phone. Should we give him credit for that, sir? Yes or no?
No.
No. Okay, thank you. Should we give Donald Trump credit for lowering the price of gas? He said he would do it on day one. Should we give Donald Trump credit for that?
No.
No, thank you. Okay, thank you. Should we give Donald Trump credit for saying he was going to build a wall and Mexico was going to pay for it?
Well,
yes or no?
Come on, Ika. The borders were so safe.
Listen, don't get
safe again,
sir. Don't get hot-headed with me. Okay, calm down. It's a yes or no question. Should we give Donald Trump credit for saying he would build a wall and Mexico was going to pay for it? Don't skim around the answer. You did a great job. The first two questions, you gave me the answer. Should we give him credit for saying he was going to build a wall and Mexico is going to pay for it? And please don't be hot-headed when you answer my question.
No.
Thank you. I appreciate your honesty, sir. Thank you. We're having a very good, productive conversation here. When Donald Trump said that he was going to hire a special prosecutor to go after Hillary Clinton, should we give him credit for that? Did he do that, sir?
I forgot that was even a thing.
Yeah, well, you forgot. No. Well, okay. I'm not going to say like all the right wingers say about Joe Biden that you have Alzheimer's, but yes, sir, I'll be respectful to you. He did do that. So Donald Trump did say he was going to do those things. In fact, he ran on those things. So why should I give him credit? What would you like me to? I'll give you the opportunity now, sir, since you're answering my questions, which I do appreciate. What do you think I should give him credit for?
Not as much credit as a benefit of the doubt, because that he's doing so many things that they attacked him.
What is he doing?
About
what is he doing?
Before.
What is he doing?
Particularly the economy, tariffs.
The economy. Okay, let's talk about that. Doge. Let's go one by one. The economy. What is the GDP growth since Donald Trump was day one in office? Have we grown the economy since he's been in there?
The answer is no. It's shrunk.
The answer is no. Okay, so I'm not going to give him credit for tanking the economy, and I'm not going to give him credit for tariffs, but because it's also the American consumers are suffering for it. But that's okay. Let's talk about tariffs. They said 90 deals in 90 days. Since you want me to give him the, quote, benefit of the doubt, how many deals has he made since he's been in office? They said 90 deals in 90 days. How many deals have been made?
Oh, he made, as far as I know, 3. One with Vietnam, the United Kingdom, and...
No. So I would argue that with you, but even if that was true, he said 90 deals in 90 days. Should we give him the benefit of the doubt? Was he telling the truth?
Well, no,
okay,
on
thank
there.
you.
But
I appreciate.
But can I go about what I mean by benefit of the doubt overall?
Sure,
because
sure.
There was actually they right before you actually had him, and you had Elon Musk saying that they actually admitted early on that, yes, there was going to be temporary hardship, but what would come after would be so much better.
Let's talk about that.
This is the wealthiest man on earth.
No, it's not.
This is Donald Trump, one who's actually gone through.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
So many hearts of bankruptcies, so many losses, and once.
Let's talk about Elon Musk. Let's talk about that. So they said they found all this fraud. Help me with this, sir, if you may. Is fraud a crime in the United States of America?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for answering that. How many people have they indicted or arrested? Where's the fraud? Have they sent any recommendations to the DOJ? Can you tell me, has there been one arrest?
No, but what about the wall of receipts?
Okay. Hold on a second. You said what about, but I'll still answer your question. But I just want to be clear on this. It sounds like you're trying to compliment Doge because you said the economy. We just proved that the economy is not, headed in the right direction. It's not true. I've had brilliant economists on this show, most of whom say that we are headed for a recession. So I don't know why you'd brag about the economy. That doesn't make any sense to me. We talked about the lies and the things that he promised to do that he hasn't done. I give you credit for admitting that and being honest. I appreciate that. And now we're talking about Elon Musk because you seem to be praising the richest man in the world. And yet, and Doge, you mentioned Doge. That was the third thing, right, sir? And
That's right.
Fraud is a crime. They've claimed first they saved $2 trillion. Then it went down to $1 trillion. Then it went down to $140 billion. They can't even prove they saved $140 billion. They keep saying that they found all this fraud. Fraud is a crime. We both agree on that. But yet they haven't indicted one person for fraud. So how can you say that Doge has done a good job? And if you care, and I'm going to believe you, because you are answering my questions, which I appreciate, by the way. Most people don't. If you care about wasteful spending, then why wouldn't you be complaining about Donald Trump spending $25 million of our own money so that he could go to the Super Bowl and leave at halftime or go to a Daytona 500? Why wouldn't you complain about him giving Ashley Babbitt's family taxpayer dollars, $5 million for a terrorist, for a traitor, who went and stormed into the Capitol and lost her life because of her stupidity? If you truly care about that, why wouldn't you be with me and call it out? There is no massive fraud going on. They haven't indicted anybody. What is there to give him credit for? Why would I give somebody the benefit of the doubt when all they do is lie? The guy is the only guy in American history who won't admit that he lost an election as president. Why would I give somebody like that the benefit of the doubt who lied literally 30,000 times his first go around in office? Why would I give somebody the benefit of the doubt who's burned the Constitution up, who's not giving people due process? Why would I give somebody the benefit of the doubt who hasn't been honest and sincere and with one of the ladies that has ever been in his life? Why would I give somebody the benefit of the doubt like that who lies every day?
So first off, I mean, the due process thing is towards illegal immigrants.
Not true. What does it say in our Constitution? What does it say in our... You don't even know, do you, sir? I'm going to read.
Yeah, actually, 5 and 14 says no person.
Right, and as a person, right?
We're in that gray area.
No. No, I'm not going to let you get away with that. That is not a gray area. They could have said legal or illegal. They could have said document or undocumented. They said person. Now, let me ask you a question. Is it a person that is being not given due process? Would you consider that a person? Yes or no? Is it a human being? Is it a person?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. In our Constitution, it says any person. So don't you give me this, with all due respect, this garbage about how, well, if you're illegal, you don't get due process. That is not the way our Constitution reads it, and that's not the way this country works. And by the way,
but we're fixing a crisis. It's a border crisis.
So you think fixing a crisis is giving people no due process, and a mother that is breastfeeding her 1-year-old child and separated? You think this is the process to send people to an El Salvador prison with no due process, some of whom have no criminal records? One man who's a hairstylist who has 2 tattoos on his body, and they said the tattoos are why we sent him over there. And you know what those 2 tattoos are? Mom and dad. You think that's how we handle a crisis? By giving people no due process and throwing people out of our country with 0 due process, many of whom that are non-violent criminals? You're okay with that, sir?
Well, the Department of Justice said that Abrego Garcia, the Department of Justice official website said he was a criminal.
Okay, so but where was that proven in a court of law? Where was that proven in a court of law?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry.
Nowhere.
Exactly. Thank you.
Hence, I mean, the Supreme Court, but...
just because, no. Oh, you want to talk about the Supreme Court? I am so glad you mentioned that. Okay. By the way, none of those people got due process. Who cares what somebody says on a website? The Supreme Court ruled 9-0 that Donald Trump needs to help, quote, facilitate the return of Mr. Garcia. Since you care so much about the Supreme Court, since you just brought it up, are you okay with the President of the United States defying the Supreme Court? Yes or no?
I care about winning.
No. Don't deflect. No. The question wasn't whether you think Trump is winning. I need you to focus. Don't deflect. You're the one who just brought up the Supreme Court. I'm going to ask you the same question again. I don't care whether you defy Donald Trump as winning or not. That wasn't my question. I need you to pay attention, sir. I'm not being hot-headed. I'm being as calm as I can, but I start to get agitated when people don't answer my questions. We were off to a really good start. Please, let's not go south. You brought up the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled 9-0 that Donald Trump and his administration must facilitate the return of Mr. Garcia. Are you okay with the President of the United States defying the Supreme Court, yes or no?
Yes.
Did you just say yes?
Yes.
So the president is above the law. The president can do no.
They've already have with immunity.
No. You're wrong. The immunity does not apply to a court ruling. You're not allowed to defy court orders. You're not allowed to defy judges, and you're not allowed to defy the Supreme Court. So you're wrong. You don't even understand what the immunity applies to. So you're okay. What you just said is so amazing to me, because I guess that's your definition of winning. You're okay with the President of the United States, no matter who it is. It doesn't matter what a judge rules. It doesn't matter what the Supreme Court rules. You're okay with the President of the United States ripping up our Constitution, not giving people due process when the Constitution clearly says every person will get due process. You're okay with the president doing whatever the hell he wants to do. You think that's winning, defying every court, and you're okay with whatever the Supreme Court rules on. You're okay that the president defies that. That's what you're saying, right, sir?
Hey,
sir,
sounds bad, but
sir, it doesn't just sound bad. You sound ridiculous, and I'm trying to be as respectful as I can to you. You have openly admitted to me that you think Donald Trump is winning. Somehow the country is winning when we have all these people in this country that are not getting due process. We have so many people in this country that have lost their jobs. There are people that are getting intimidated by the Secret Service for saying 8647. You guys are the ones that talk about the Constitution. You guys are the ones that talk about free speech. He is the one who is infringing on our rights. And yet you come to this show, and I'm shocked what you just said, that you can't even admit that maybe the President of the United States, maybe defying a Supreme Court order, and maybe that might be inappropriate and wrong. You are defying everything basically that it says about this country, our Constitution, how it was founded. And you seem to be totally okay with that because you have some sort of fetish for the orange man. Like, let me ask you another question, sir, before I let you go. And by the way, I do appreciate you having this conversation with me. I do appreciate you answering my questions, because I do think for the most part you did, even though I disagree with you. And that's why I'm trying to be respectful to you. Let's talk a little bit about his behavior. Do you have a family, sir? If you don't mind me asking, I'm not trying. There's a reason why I'm asking. Do you have kids?
No kids.
Okay, fair enough. You have are you an uncle? Do you have kids in your family?
Uncle. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so you're an uncle. I appreciate that. So, what would you say about somebody that you call great or winning, who openly admitted to going into teenage girls' locker rooms without their permission because he owned the pageant? And several of those women have come forward since. And Donald Trump admitted to doing that in a sexual manner on the Howard Stern show. You're an uncle. And that's why I'm asking you this question. Are you comfortable with that behavior?
Well,
sir,
but
it's a yes or no.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're comfortable. Okay. So let me get this straight. You're an uncle. How old is you have a niece or a nephew?
Nephews between 18 and 13 and 18.
Okay, so hypothetically speaking, let's just say your nephews, male or female, it doesn't really matter, but let's just go with female here. Do you have a niece, or are they only nephews?
Only nephews, but young people in my family.
Okay,
yes.
Young people. Let's pretend that one of those people is a 13-year-old girl, because you said you're an uncle. What if a man in his 60s that owned a teenage pageant walked into a dressing room when your niece was undressing and naked without permission? Would you be okay with that?
No.
Okay, so then why would you say yes just because it's not your niece, sir? Now I'm starting to get frustrated, okay? I'm going to try to be calm with you. You just said you wouldn't be okay if you had a 13-year-old niece and a middle-aged 60-year-old dude walked in there without permission. Then why is it okay for him to do it if it's not a member of your family? He openly admitted it on the Howard Stern show, that he went into teenage locker rooms from the beauty pageants that he ran without permission. They were naked, many of them. They were changing. Why is it only if it affects you personally? Why don't you start thinking about other people? So I'm going to ask you the question again. I'm going to give you a chance to retract. Are you okay with the man who you call great, who you claim is winning, personally, going into teenage locker rooms, bragging about it on the Howard Stern show in a sexual manner. Are you okay with him doing that without permission? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Why did you say yes?
Because I thought it in terms of, like, celebrities and music artists that have girls surrounding them, and they can, like, push the limits, and that's what I thought that Trump was like.
Okay, so you're wrong about that. Okay, fine. I appreciate the fact that you changed your answer, and thankfully you did. I still don't understand your Supreme Court answer. Let's go with this a little bit further. Are you comfortable with a man who has 25 women that have accused him of abuse, who is a liable abuser, who had to pay a woman off, and his own ex-wife claimed, I'll use the term grape because I am on other social medias where you can't use that word, had to pay her off. Under oath, she said that he raped her. Are you comfortable with that behavior of a man who had unprotected sex with a porn star when Melania was giving birth to Barron? Are you okay with that?
One question at a time. Of the women that came forward, it's that, so many women in my circle and my family.
Here we go.
They all think that these are just dumb women looking for attention.
They're just so that's
the women listening.
Okay, so first of all, let me just stop you there. For you to characterize, including his ex-wife, by the way, so you're saying that he married a dumb woman who testified under oath. Clearly, you're not familiar with that case, Ivanka Trump, who recently passed away a few years ago. So Ivanka Trump, E. Jean Carroll, and the 25 other women, because some people in your family made it. By the way, I don't care what members of your family say. I'm talking to you. You're saying that, quote, they're all dumb. Would you say all the women in the Bill Cosby case were dumb as well?
Not all.
Not all.
But
okay.
who knows if they were? I mean, but we'll think about this for a second. Here's a woman apparently assaulted, coming like 10 or 20 years later. It's all like So if you come out 10 or 20 years later, it couldn't have happened. Is that what you're saying, sir? I mean, why did they have to wait so long?
Why did they have to wait
every
so long?
Woman I know.
I'll answer that. I don't think you know a lot of women, but
the same exact thing.
I don't think you know a lot of women, but let's go back to what you just said, sir. So do you understand that in many situations with women that are the victims of abuse, there's a lot of different reasons why they don't come forward. Some are shame. They're afraid of power. Many women who came forward, some of whom I know personally in the Bill Cosby case, wonderful people, great people. They were scared. They were shamed. They didn't know what to do. For you to say that if a woman comes forward 10 or 20 years later, it couldn't have happened and it's very suspicious. Do you realize how ridiculous that statement is?
I think that, that was the general consensus around.
No, it's not. It's your consensus. No, it's not.
No, around Brett Kavanaugh, about Brett Kavanaugh.
Okay, so first of all, Brett Kavanaugh we're not talking about. Donald Trump was found liable for sexual abuse. Are you aware of that? A jury of his peers found him liable. Does that not matter to you, sir? Then again, you think that he should just defy the Supreme Court, and you're totally okay with that. But it was proven
in a civil court with almost no evidence.
So did you see all the evidence, sir? Who saw all the evidence? You or the jury? Who saw all the evidence, sir? You or the jury?
Yeah, I'm going on because I'm forgetting about civil court.
So,
I learned about the difference.
So you learned about civil court, but you're totally okay. You're a civil court scholar, but yet you have no problem with our president of the United States defying the Supreme Court on a 9-0 ruling. That makes a lot of sense. But I'm sure you know a lot about the civil court. That's okay. So let me get this right.
But to go back.
No. I am going back. I am going back to that. But hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Okay, he's not making anybody rich unless it's tech billionaire friends. But hold on a second. You have all the evidence that the jury saw in the E. Jean Carroll case. You've seen all the evidence.
I have not.
You have not. Okay, so what? Okay, so hold on. It does matter. Hold on. You just said there was no evidence. I just asked you if you saw the evidence in the case that the jury saw. You said no. Sir, I'm trying to be respectful to you. You don't know what you're talking about. You haven't seen all the evidence that the jury saw. You're making a gross assumption. You also said that all the women, including 25 of them or more, that have accused Donald Trump of abuse are all stupid. That is a despicable statement. You also said that you would be okay with Donald Trump going into a teenage locker room without permission when they're changing. And then when I tried to personalize it to somebody in your family, then that made you change your mind, which is very bizarre. You've also said that you're okay with Donald Trump defying Supreme Court decisions, in this case 9-0, to facilitate Garcia coming back. So am I supposed to have a serious intellectual conversation with a man who thinks the president can do whatever he wants to, and unless it affects your family, you don't care if it affects everybody else? That's what I'm getting from this conversation, sir. Unless it affects you personally, you don't care about other people. You have proven that in this conversation. All right, sir. Have a nice day. You sound I appreciate your call. It sounded like you just developed a stutter in the middle of the phone call. I hope you get that fixed, sir. Have a nice day. Holy smokes. Wow, that was a piece of work. By the way, I didn't yell at him. I didn't scream at him. But I will say this. That man is a complete MAGA buffoon. What part of that do you not understand, huh? What part of that do you not get?
Moron.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm the moron. Have a nice day and go fly a kite, you MAGA inbred fool, you.
I guess I would be considered a MAGA guy because I voted for Trump.
Okay.
But I don't understand. Like, I'm listening to you guys, and I'm listening to your callers continually just criticize.
Okay, well, let's talk about me.
And smash
Rob,
like we're a bunch of retards. Even you criticizing everyone like they're a bunch of retards.
Okay, so first of all, don't use that word on this show because I don't use it, and it's not a good word that we would use on this show. So that's how I would start. I never
What word is that?
Hold on, Rob. Hold on. Let's have a conversation, but please don't use that word.
I don't understand. What word did I say that was that line?
Okay, I'm not going to repeat it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I don't know what to tell you. So let's focus on me, not the callers. Okay, Rob? Name me something that I have said on this show specifically about Donald Trump that you disagree with, and then let's go from there. Let's try not to generalize, Rob, if that's fair. Tell me something I've done.
I'm not generalizing. I understand you're trying to fast talk this.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Rob, stop playing the victim.
Let's have Rob. Stupid.
Rob.
You said the guy doesn't understand Medicaid.
Rob, I need you to slow down.
I'm listening to you, bro.
Rob, you're not listening. You're talking over me. I'm trying to be very calm and have a conversation with you. So, give me a specific statement that I said on the show just today about Donald Trump that you disagree with, and then we can go from there and have a conversation. Just give me one thing. What did I say?
You said he doesn't understand food stamps or Medicaid.
Okay, so here's why I said that, and now we can have a conversation about that, and you can tell me why you disagree. So Donald Trump is going to be cutting benefits on food stamps for millions of Americans in this country. Many of those people are suffering. What I mean by suffering is they can't even afford to go to the grocery and spend $20 on, bread and butter or whatever they buy. And when he cuts that, they are going to be suffering more. What part of that does not make sense to you when he says, well, their prices are going to be lower? He said the prices are going to be lower. The prices are not lower now. Even if that was true, 6 months from now, a year from now, when he cuts benefits on food stamps, they're going to be losing the ability to get food for free because they are in desperate need. What do you disagree with about that?
I disagree with the fact you act like our president is a moron.
Hold on. I want you to be specific. Let's stop.
Let me speak. Don't overtalk me.
Then respond to what I just said.
Answer the question.
Then respond to what I just said.
You just start talking.
Then respond to what I just said. It has nothing to do with me insulting the president. You talked about food stamps. Respond to what I just said.
You just said the president doesn't understand food stamp and how people are hurting.
He doesn't.
How do you not figure this man,
okay,
who's a billionaire, doesn't understand what? I mean, he employs people.
Okay,
he pays people. He knows what this is all about.
I'm trying.
If you think for somehow
I'm trying to explain it to you, Rob.
You're not.
Okay, so answer this then. Cutting food stamps, how will that help those people? Help me understand, since clearly I don't understand. Help me understand. How is right now cutting food stamps to millions of Americans who don't have any money to buy groceries, right now at this moment, explain to me how that's helpful?
Well, obviously, that's not going to help you.
Okay, well, that's my point. I'm glad we agree.
We're not doing a dash. We're doing a race. This is a marathon.
Rob, that was my point. Okay, my point was there's a lot of people in this country right now that are suffering. He made it sound like it's beneficial to those people today. I'm assuming you didn't hear the comments he made this morning, okay? And that has nothing to do with me calling him a name But here's why I do call him names, Rob, since now you've agreed with me and made my point about food stamps, which he didn't make this morning. The reason why I call him names is because this is the guy who's insulted POWs, Gold Star families, women on looks. Do you think it's appropriate for a man? Let's start here. Do you think it's appropriate? What would you call somebody who attacks somebody's military service who was a POW, doesn't respect them because they were captured? What would you say about that? Would you call that person a moron, or you think that's taking it too far?
Are you talking about John McCain?
I'm just asking you a very generic question, and it is irrelevant to who it is.
It's not a generic question.
Oh, it's not.
If you randomly say that anyone that's a POW is garbage because they got
so it's okay if you don't like somebody.
But
so
that was
it's
a
okay.
Personal issue between those two.
Okay, so you're saying you're defending it because he doesn't like John McCain. It's okay to say I don't respect him because he was captured. Is that what you're saying, sir?
Right. That's because that was a person. That's no different.
So if you have a person, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Let me explain.
Calm this idiot down. No, you're not going to explain. I'm going to explain to you, you dumbass. Okay, now I'm going to explain it to you. Just because you don't like somebody doesn't give you the right to attack their military service, and you're curling yourself into a pretzel, making yourself sound like the imbecile that you are. You are defending Donald Trump for attacking John McCain because he was captured. If you don't like Donald Trump because of policy or any other thing, fine. Let me tell you the difference, okay, dodo head? Okay, you MAGA inbred? Yeah, that's right, I'm going there. I don't like Ron DeSantis. I don't like J.D. Vance, but never would I crap on their military service. What part of that do you not understand, huh? What part of that do you not get?
You are a moron.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm the moron. Have a nice day and go fly a kite, you MAGA inbred fool, you. I proved you wrong when it came to food stamps. You admitted to me that cutting food stamps to millions of Americans and making cuts to food stamps will be bad. You admitted that, and you just proved yourself to be a complete clown. And now you're defending Donald Trump attacking the military service of John McCain because he doesn't like John McCain, or you didn't like him as a politician. So you're defending going after somebody and crapping on their military service, which makes you a moron and an a-hole. Have a nice day. Another MAGA moron. Just because you're black doesn't mean you're right, Herb. You also voted for Donald Trump.
It's insulting to me because I'm
right. Okay. So let me just get this right. If somebody on it, hold on.
Listen, I gotta sympathize with something that you said earlier, and I agree with you.
Wow, Herb, are you feeling okay today?
And so you had said something about when people get diagnosed with a disease like cancer or they die.
Yeah.
Let's wait a while before we start criticizing and coming down on them.
I agree.
There's a grace period at least.
So, Herb, can I ask you something? Herb, we obviously agree on that, and I'm glad to hear you say that. So, Herb, let me ask you something. Why do you think there's so many MAGA Republicans out there that are doing this? By the way, I'm not talking about people like you or me or regular everyday people. I'm talking about elected officials. Why do you think so many elected officials like J.D. Vance, our vice president, Donald Trump, our president, Ed Martin, Roger Marshall? I played you a lot of them yesterday and today. Why are they doing it?
I think most of them are coming out and they are sympathizing. However,
no, they're not.
There's a lot of
no, they're not.
Well, okay. I don't want to argue with you.
Herb, I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just telling you that almost every MAGA Republican that's been on TV over the last 24 hours have criticized the Biden family. Maybe in a sentence they said, yeah, I hope he gets better, and then they go into the conspiracy theories. So when you say most, I'm only talking about those that have done interviews over the course of the last 24 hours. Even J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, the president and the vice president, who you voted for that ticket, by the way. J.D. Vance, I played you the audio. Donald Trump, I played the audio, talking about Stage 9, sounding like the imbecile that he is. These are people that you voted for, Herb. And guess what? I'd be criticizing Democrats if they did that. But Herb, you have to admit this to me, okay? When Mitch McConnell froze up, the first person that called Mitch McConnell was Joe Biden. How do we know this? Because Mitch McConnell talked about it. Joe Biden wished him well. He showed empathy. But why is it when Paul Pelosi gets bludgeoned with a hammer, they go into the conspiracy theories? Why is it that when, these other types of people like a Joe Biden get cancer, they go into the conspiracy theories and then they start attacking? Herb, it's wrong.
Yeah, I agree. It's wrong. And that's being the first thing that they do, that is wrong. And like I said, there should be some kind of a grace period at least let the, when I first heard that Joe Biden had cancer, that hit me. I never voted for the guy, but it still hit me.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
I felt so sorry for him.
Well, I appreciate
Herb. I got to ask you this.
Okay,
Brian.
hold on.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
When Rush Limbaugh, when he died, within 24 hours, you came down on him hard.
Yep.
And
here's why.
Saying you hope he died and what the hell?
No, I never said that. Hold on, Herb. I never said I hoped he lost his life. That's a lie. I never said that. There's a difference between saying that and saying I don't feel sorry for him. Now, if you can show me examples of Joe Biden hating on people because of their sexuality, hating on people because of the color of their skin, then I'll correct myself because I don't feel sorrow for bad people. Now, you might not like Joe Biden's policies, and that's totally fine. You have that right. But there is no comparison between Joe Biden, who I have some disagreements with, but I don't think he's a horrible person, and never on the record did he ever call Barack Obama. And by the way, that's what Rush Limbaugh did on his show. Herb, if you don't mind me asking, are you a black man?
You've asked me that about 10
Okay, well, I just want to make sure. Okay, so the answer is yes. I just want to make sure. So, Herb, should you feel bad for somebody who played on their show and called Barack Obama the magic? Is that somebody that we should feel sorrow for?
Well, should we feel sorry for somebody that said
whataboutism.
If you don't vote for me, you're not black?
Okay, so first of all,
well, it's the same.
Okay, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. First, no, it's not. Herb. We're talking about Herb. I'm giving you my answer, but hold on. Herb, I need you to listen. We're having a conversation. I need you to listen. When you call somebody, Herb, I need you to stop talking now so I could respond. There is no comparison between calling Barack Obama on a radio show and Joe Biden saying you're not black if you don't vote for me. By the way, Joe Biden apologized the next day. Okay. There is no comparison between mocking someone because of their skin color, which is exactly what Rush Limbaugh did. He also called women whores that want prophylactics. Okay. This is a man who spread bigotry. No, hold on. I'll let you finish, but this is a man who spread bigotry on the air every single day. And you can't compare that to Joe Biden making a statement, you ain't black if you're not voting for me. By the way, he apologized the next day. There is no comparison between the two. Joe Biden is a decent man. He's suffered a lot of loss in his life. He's not this horrible human being. Simply put, Rush Limbaugh was. And I never said that I wanted his life to end. That is also a lie. Do I hope he's burning in hell? Absolutely. But there's a difference between saying that and hoping that somebody's life ends, which I never said. I don't take back anything I've ever said about Rush Limbaugh. I don't like a lot of Republicans in office today, but I'll even tell you something even more. If Donald Trump was diagnosed with cancer tomorrow, I would not go on the air smiling, I wouldn't be gloating, and I wouldn't come up with conspiracy theories. That is the difference between somebody like me and somebody on the far right. Go ahead, Herb.
Okay, Brian. I'm black. So for you to call me
I didn't say that. I didn't say that to you. I didn't say that.
I know you didn't. I'm using this as an example. Let's say you call me that is not a disgrace to me.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Brian, let me finish. You see, that's the problem. That's why conservatives don't call your show.
Oh, they do actually.
You don't listen to what they have to say.
They do actually, Herb. They call in a lot.
So
go ahead, Herb.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
Let me finish. So if someone calls me that's not an insult.
I heard you say that already.
There was a time when that was a common reference to black folks.
Herb.
They were called. So that's not an.
Herb, I have a question for you. Context matters. Hold on, Herb. Herb, I will let you, but I want to ask you a question first, Herb. In the context of how he said it, Barack the Magic, is that insulting or is he just doing it to be respectful? Barack the Magic, is that insulting someone because of the color of their skin or not? Yes or no, Herb? Answer my question. No, don't Brian me.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yes or no?
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay.
No, it's not insulting. It's more insulting to me to tell me that I'm not black if I don't vote for you. I don't care if you apologize.
Herb, that's ridiculous.
All
right. So I just want to get this right. In your context, just because you're black doesn't mean you're right, Herb. You also voted for Donald Trump.
It's insulting to me because I'm
right. Okay. So let me just get this right. If somebody on it, hold on.
No,
I want to.
Let me finish.
No, Herb, let me just finish, and then it's your turn. Okay, Herb, let me just finish. So according to Herb, on a national show with the most listenership on the planet, in this case it was Rush Limbaugh, who called Barack Obama the magic on his show. According to Herb, that's not insulting, and he didn't mean it in an insulting way. Herb, I just want to make sure, and I want you to clarify. That's not trying to insult somebody if they're black. Is that what you're saying, Herb?
I didn't say he didn't say it in an insulting way. I'm just saying, to me, that is not insulting. Okay, that's his opinion.
So if it's
that's what he says.
It's just his opinion.
However, Brian, bottom line is that you waited less than 24 hours.
Yep.
It's
no really hard.
How you felt about Rush Limbaugh.
It's really hard, Herb, when I keep repeating myself over and over and over again. I don't wish well to bad people, okay? I don't wish good feelings for people that caused a lot of other people harm. I don't wish well for people that went on the radio every single day and attacked the LGBT community, attacked the trans community, attacked people who look like you. And I am amazed that you are either you're not aware of it and you're complicit, or you're just lying. Rush Limbaugh attacked people that look like you every day, and he called our former president of the United States, who happens to be black, Barack the Magic. And you're telling me that none of that stuff bothered you as much as Joe Biden said, you ain't black if you're not voting for me. Oh, yeah, by the way, he apologized for it the next day. Is that what you're saying, Herb?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
All right, Herb, I appreciate your call, Herb. Have a nice day. I just can't take any more of it, Herb. I just can't. I tried. I just can't. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Calling a black man from a white man, insulting a black man, is not insulting to you, and nowhere near as insulting as Joe Biden said, you're not black if you're not voting for me, and then apologizes the next day. Herb, that's absolutely insufferable and ridiculous. It's absurd. It's insane. I appreciate you calling, Herb, but you just embarrassed yourself on this show once again.